Born under the mark of the nerd, I am the Codebreak, and this is my mantra. So this entire segment took me a very long time. A few disclaimers here. I have text on the left side and artwork on the left side with the animation on the bottom and the video above that. As you can probably see, that's kind of HUD, UI, or heads-up display user interface kind of sort of thing. As we go through the balls here in Link's The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This took me a really long time to do, so I hope you all enjoy it. I think you're gonna enjoy this, and I'm gonna give commentary along the way. The text in the left corner, once again, is for those that are hearing impaired or want something to read. If you would like it without commentary, just let me know in the comments, or with commentary, let me know. Some shout outs beforehand. First of all, thank God that I'm able to do this. Thank you very much for all this stuff. I just love to create. Thank you, YouTube, my family, of course, for supporting this through the years. And a big shout out to my friends that have been with me through the years, and especially the guys online that I've been talking to a lot that I never met in real life, but Frazzleberry, We So Crazy, and Dawn Rider. Those guys are great guys, and I really love you guys. So hopefully we'll be friends for a long time. So moving on to the walkthrough, I did make a few cuts here. And once again, with the commentary, I know I repeated myself, but I'm not sure if you guys want commentary or not. People say they like my commentary, so we're going to keep it in. And you can pretty much see what's going on here. If you can't hear or just want to read, you can mute the volume or lower it. And you can read along, check out the artwork. The whole idea of this is to immerse you into the game a little bit. And it reminds you of A Link to the Past. We know there's 1,000 walkthroughs on the freaking game and whatnot, but I came through with something a little bit extra, I feel. And I think everybody's going to like this. I really do. So we got the Link sprite there moving around. That is not my artwork. The one thing that is not my artwork in this entire guide, I'm pretty sure, is that Link sprite there. I just got him to move and animate, and I just plugged them into Adobe Animate, which are the programs that I use, and Link is now kind of running through the stairs, paths of the Eastern Palace. As we enter this dark room here too, which is pretty dark, and you're going to need your flashlight or your lantern, don't forget that. So then I got underneath the text some artwork, which was the original thumbnail for this level. And if you've been a long-time subscriber, like the awesome guys like that stick around and always comment, like Gamer Harpy, Mape, Sim, even some of the newer guys too. If you're just a long-time subscriber and you haven't commented, I'd like to hear from you, by the way. But also, I appreciate you being here too. I love you for that, as well as Frazzle. I love you guys checking out the stuff and hitting that like button. That boosts me in the algorithm, and more people see this video. So, hit it if you enjoy it, and you liked it. Don't fake hit it, but you know what I'm saying. If you're just gonna be an A, but then I'm not gonna get, just thumbsing me down ain't gonna help me at all. It's just gonna push my stuff further down the algorithm, and then I don't get any money. So that stinks for me. So I put the thumbnail in there. That's the artwork for this playlist. But now I'm turning it all into a whole light playlist. So this video is going to be on the entire light world. But I did leave out a lot of the hearts and even some items. I'm going to try getting all the items in one video. And the reason for that is I'm animating everything myself, hand drawing stuff in Photoshop, and then animating it in Adobe Animate. As I learn to get better at animation, to make better virtual guides for everybody on YouTube.com and across the web, wherever these go, or maybe somebody will notice and give me buy me a coffee or something like that, send me a few bucks my way, want to use my work, wherever this goes. I love it. Go YouTube Premium. I'm happy doing it. And Nintendo, of course, thank you guys. I thank you at the end of the text too. I'm gonna love you for this as well. As we pick up the big chest here, and you get the bow really early in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I think you get it even earlier in the original Zelda game, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but that's still a revolutionary title. I just feel A Link to the Past, well, for a lot of obvious reasons, refined that and just built upon what we have today. And you got Ocarina, and then they perfected it with the Wind Waker, into Twilight Princess, into Skyward Sword, and then it got the Zelda series was redone again with Breath of the Wild. That's just how I feel. It was redone with the original game. Then you got number two, but then you have Ocarina, which was another world for Zelda, and it worked. And then you have the open world effect with Breath of the Wild, or the open air effect with the Zelda Breath of the Wild game. And the next one, Tears of the Kingdom, in that case, is going to be a monster. In terms of gameplay, this game, and graphics, of course, it's going to blow our minds. The gameplay is going to be nuts. It's on the same engine, it seems, as the other game, and I just cannot wait for it, which is why I've been pumping out so much A Link to the Past content and Zelda content lately. If anybody picked up on that, that's really why I'm just on that Zelda kick where I'm loving Zelda right now. So I can't get enough of Zelda. It is probably my favorite series of all time, with the Wind Waker being my favorite game of all time. The Legend of Zelda. This is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I'm the Codebreak. I'm going to take out the Gorgon, Red Gorgon with those arrows there. One other quick note, I love the feel of the arrows and how they're shot in A Link to the Past. I just think they're great. Both, I feel like it wiggles and you can almost feel it in this game. Then you pick up your arrows along the way as they drop. It was just so excellent. Love everything about the bow and arrow. Spoilers for later on, the silver arrows in the game as we get ready now to rip and rock as the animation changes at the bottom of the screen, and we're now taking on the Armos Knights, baby. Get ready, saddle up, and grab your bombs. We get a few cuts here to keep this shorter, but you could take out the Armos Knights with the bombs, and then you could switch over to arrows if you're out of bombs, and if you're out of everything else, you could start using your charged sword strikes and strike the heck out. I'm going to blast that one away with a few arrows, and we go down to the last one here, keeping it short and sweet. I am the Codebreak for segment 1. We're going to continue next with a few items, and then go into the rest of the light world with the start of our virtual guide here. Always will love Nintendo, as seen in the top left corner of the screen there. The Armos Knights and animation by the Codebreak. Music by Jem and Sam Miller. Restored and Koji Kondo, never forget it. I'm the Codebreak. We'll be right back. After leaving the Eastern Palace, we could pick up a few items, and some of these are in the Kakariko Village, others are in the Lost Woods. They're all over the light world, but I picked up some of the more important ones, and for starters, the first one would be the magic powder, which is really one of the coolest items in the game, and I absolutely adore the animation of it in the new Link's Awakening game on the Nintendo Switch. I just love the animation of it. And I also am quite fond of mine here on the left corner of the screen, bottom left corner. And we got a little alternate Zelda logo I made with alternate Master Sword underneath the video. So I think you guys and girls are going to enjoy that. Some text above here showing you describing what we're doing here in this video segment as we pick up the mushroom in the Lost Woods, which is near the Thieves' Hideout. And now we're going to cut over to another segment in this video, which is near the Witch's Hideout, or the Witch's Hut. And thanks to the legendary and late but amazingly awesome and still with us all, Saikyo Mog, for tons of video footage here in this Legend of Zelda guide. This is the first segment of his footage. Thank you, Jeremy. We're always going to love you. Check out Saikyo Mog's channel, and don't forget it. And his dad's still keeping that one going. God bless you and your family from the Codebreak, and my family as well. Thank you very much, as always. So you could go off screen and then come back on screen after giving the witch the mushroom, and then go inside, and her agent will have the magic powder, and you could turn those guys, the little slimes, into Q-men, and you could do various other things with the magic powder. We'll be back with the next segment. I am the Codebreak. Next up, we can head over to the Kakariko Village, and we're going to pick up the bug net in this one from the Sick Boy. And I got some animations here on this one's on the left, and a little quick sketch on the bottom. That Triforce is glowing on the white, on the left and right. I threw this one together a little bit quicker, still have the text though, and I'm not as happy as the way it came out as others because I did rush it. And this is what happens when you rush things, the quality just isn't there. So you do go to the Sick Boy, and after talking to him, he will just give you the bug net. You just got to talk to him once or twice, maybe 3 times tops, and that's really it. The bug net is awesome though because you can catch fairies with it and put them in a bottle. You can catch bees and put those in the bottle, and then you can pick up more bottles once you have the bug net too, I believe, because that's the whole point of the bug net, is to catch stuff and put it into bottles. One of the cooler items in the franchise, and this was the first time it appeared in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the SNES, Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So at first, I cut the Book of Medora artwork and text out for this video. You're going to need the Book of Medora, which is located at the Feathered House. There's a little feather icon on top of a house in Kakariko Village. You go inside there, and only with the Pegasus boot, once again the Pegasus boots, you could ram into the bookshelf and the Book of Medora will fall down. Once you have the Book of Medora, head down to the desert, go to the area we were just in the video, and then you could pray with the Book of Medora by equipping it to your item slot, and that will open the way to the Desert Palace. So we have the text on the left, artwork below, logo on top of the text, and the animation right under the video. In this animation, Link is holding the Book of Medora with the lantern, a lit lantern. That orange is glowing and moving in and out of the lantern. Pretty proud of myself on that one. And he's walking through the Desert Palace, and you can see the sand and the Zelda jars or pots with Landmola coming out periodically out of the sand. And we're making our way through this second true dungeon. In my opinion, this is the second true dungeon of the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now, animation is going to pick up a little bit towards the boss fight. As we avoid this Beamos here, step on that switch, which is revealed by picking up one of the jars. And then that reveals where the big chest is. I'm sorry for that bad cut there. But to get to the big chest, we need the big key. So you have to go to the Beamos room all the way to the east of the map. And I believe it's in this treasure chest. No, that's the compass. So get the compass that will locate the boss room for us. But this dungeon's not that tough in general. You can Pegasus move through this area with the balls, and this one here will lead to the big key. Now all we gotta do from that point is backtrack. So the big reward or the big treasure in the big chest is the Power Glove in this dungeon number 2, the Desert Palace. And the Power Glove is actually going to lead us outside the dungeon for a moment to pick up the green stones. There are light colored green stones and dark colored green stones. Both light, large, and small stones can be picked up with the base Power Glove. Later in the game, there is another Power Glove that you will acquire that can help you pick up the dark green stones and the heavy dark green stones, if those apply. I'm not sure if I remember at this point. As I replay the game here or go through the game again, I forget if there's big dark green stones. That's something I forget. So once you have that Power Glove, these guys are eating Link alive here too in this video. And we can use the inner dungeon exit near the Beamos and pick up the green stones and re-enter the dungeon. So from the area we're in, we're going to head south, as we still got Landmola popping out in this animation, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Going downward, And this guy's getting hit a lot in this video, but I appreciate the use of the video, by the way, for the Creative Commons. Really great stuff. A for effort, I must say. So thank you very much for that. And once you get to this room, you'll see the light coming out of the door and the BMOS to the north of that. And here's where I was talking about, where you can now pick up the green stones. And Link can chuck them too, just like he could throw them. He could chuck them just like pots, or the Zelda jars that you see all over the game. Pushing the blocks here and avoiding the BMOS, you push that one to the left, which will open the skull door. Pick up a small key in the bottom left jar or vase. To the second floor, Pegasus booting on through, Landmola popping out once again. Defeat all of the enemies in this room. We have no small key at the moment, and there's another skull door blocking our path. Then defeating all the enemies will open up the skull door. Moving to the right, some torches here, some sconces that we can light with our lantern. That's a little bit of a hint or foreshadowing for a little bit later. Pick up one of the middle jars, specifically the middle vase to the right, and that'll have another small key. And then in this room, another small key in the top right corner, and be quick with that one so you can avoid taking damage. And this is nearing the final room right before the boss. You're going to see the red Gorgons here, or the red Cyclops enemies. I am so sorry for butchering their name or forgetting their name. Shoot them with 2 arrows from the bow and arrow, switching back to the boomerang, and then eventually the lantern. We're going to need the lantern here because we have to light up the 4 torch sconces in succession here, and do it quick because they will go out. That will make the wall start moving from the level, and now all of a sudden we are in for a bigger surprise here. Welcome to the True Dungeon boss number 2, using the big key on the door. Here we go, taking out some life medicine. Boss number 2, Landmola of the Death Palace. So all you gotta do is hit this guy in the head. Spin attacks will work. As you can see, the player here is just mashing away the button, the B button, and attacking his head over and over again. Life medicine is your friend, but do not forget the ice rod also works at this point in the game, which is why you may want to acquire it before you go into this boss battle. And it can be acquired once you get the bombs. The final strike here on Landmola will get us the second pendant of the level and another piece of heart. I'm the Codebreak. We'll be right back. The Pendant of Wisdom. So next up is the Ice Rod, and you can get the Ice Rod before Landmola of the Desert Palace, and you can pretty much get the Ice Rod even once you have the first half of bombs. It's just kind of a long trek from that point. Shortly after gaining the bombs, it will be necessary to acquire for a particular late game boss. Yeah, so you're going to need the Ice Rod. It consumes magic power and can freeze enemies from afar. The Ice Rod is also really one of the cooler items of the game, and in ways ahead of its time, I feel. The Ice Rod was just absolutely brilliant in A Link to the Past. As you see on the screen, we have a cave to the right, and to the left of that cave is a giant gray rock, or light green rock, and a little bombable wall. So bomb the wall, and you'll be into this secret ice cave area, and within the chest is the Ice Rod, and it's pretty much that simple from this point. It's chill magic blast the air. Use it wisely. The item consumes much magic power, so use it wisely, as quoted by myself as well, in the left corner of the screen. And that's it on the Ice Rod. We'll be right back. Next up, we got the Zora's Flipper. And I just made a right from the witch's house. So you're going to walk up, pick up the stone from the witch's house, and then head right. So you must have the Power Glove. In order, I listed this in the top left corner of the screen above the flipper and its cute little bubbles. Have at least 500 rupees, have the Power Glove, head to the witch's house, pick up the stone, and then follow the path in the video from that point. Once you reach that little fade out, that classic Super Nintendo Entertainment System fade out, continue in the light blue water. The dark blue water Link will drown in. Don't forget that for the newer players or the younger guys and girls out there. You can walk on the grass, you can walk in the light blue water, stay away from the whirlpools, and avoid the Zora mermen. They're dangerous, they're bad for Link. They will cause damage to Link. So keep going in that shallow water east or right until you get to an end here and you will meet King Zora. Pay the King Zora 500 whopping rupees and he will give Link the Zora's flippers. With this key item, Link can now swim in deep water. He can also warp by going inside certain whirlpools. Use this to collect tons of secrets. This is Zora's slipper, and we will do a little bit of a swimming montage with it. Thanks again to Saikyo Mag, the man, the myth, and the legend, Jeremy, for the video footage. You can even jump down waterfalls with this. The whirlpools lead to secrets and shortcuts. You can go underneath the bridge in Hyrule Castle. Hit the like button if you remember how awesome that little scene was in the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Lots of fun stuff with the Zora slippers. And this item was hard to acquire. I remember as a kid needing the guide or needing a friend to tell me how to beat this part of the game. And it was really, really, just really cool. So we'll be back. This is one of the most classic items in the series, or one of my most favorite key items. This is the Zora slippers. And don't forget the mysterious pond inside the waterfall here. Wonder what that does. Alrighty, folks. Firstly, this is the Tower of Hera, one of the final segments of this Light World virtual guide by the Codebreak. And in this segment, there is that Shorts logo popping up right near the link with the magic mirror animation. For step one, we have to get the magic mirror, and the old man's gonna instruct us how to get through the cave to his house, in which he will give us the magic mirror. But I want to apologize for that Shorts logo popping up. I don't know why that's happening. I downloaded the video off youtube.com from the original cut, which was in the Zelda playlist, and now as I edit it all together in Clipchamp, the Shorts logo is popping up, and there's nothing I can do about it at the moment. And I apologize to the people watching for that. Kind of a small nitpick though. I hope you guys can get over it and still enjoy the video. As this was my favorite animation in the guide currently, I have the Tower of Hera with some gold blocks around, an awesome outlet of the sky, the tower itself, a rotating Moon Pearl animation within Moon Pearl, two almost knights, and a door that enters the Tower of Hera. I added the magic mirror in, Link gazing into the magic mirror, phasing in and phasing out with each gaze. From the light world to the dark world, this is the Tower of Hera, this is my mantra, and I am the Codebreak. So we head up the ladder, and now we'll be on to phase 2 after acquiring the magic mirror, picking up the onto the pink rabbit segment. Head up the mountain until you see a blue warping point, which is right here. Just walk into it. You are now a rabbit in the dark world of the game, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Walk left and use the magic mirror on the left light spot, which is this location right here. Take the mirror, I believe it's the Y button on Super Nintendo Entertainment System. If I forgot, I apologize. You can pick up the piece of heart, jump on down, go back to your magical boomerang that we acquired from the secret fountain that was off screen. I did not record that. Thanks to Saikyo Mag for the footage. He'll have that covered in his full amazing walkthrough of Link to the Past, which is 100% complete. on YouTube.com, and it's the top walkthrough with nearing 3 million views, currently sitting at a hefty 2.9 million views. Picking up the first small key, use the crystal switches to navigate through this dungeon. The boomerang is a good item for the dungeon mainly. Pick up the first small key, and those are the crystal switches. We just hit one there, and it should lead to the dungeon map in that blue outer lane there. Another depiction of the magic mirror on the top left corner of the screen. You can communicate telekinetically with Sahasharala on the bottom. Open up the small key door in the top left, and we're going to be in a tile room at this point. Now, a trick on the tiles, Sakiyomag has it down pretty much perfectly, if not flawlessly. You want to slash when they begin to come at you, and you want to delay your slash just a little bit so you can connect with the tile as well. As Sakiyomag, if ever, takes any damage in all of his walkthroughs, and he was one of the best ever because he gives you the 100% breakdown on these amazing Super Nintendo games and more. And he I never see the guy really get hit. Maybe once or twice, if that. I really don't see him taking much damage, and I've been a long-time viewer of the Sakiyomag channel. So you hit that switch there, and then head on down. Magic mirror is still up in the top left. Take out the lantern at this point. Watch out for the red skeletons, and light all 4 sconces for the big key. This is the master key of the dungeon. It can open many keys, many locked doors that small keys cannot. Warp out with the magic mirror. Don't forget you can do that. It's going to save you tons of time. Specifically at that point, take out the magic mirror, put it in your item slot, warp out, and then start heading up the Tower of Hera. So you started going down, I believe, and then are taking the left path. Now you're taking the right path, which leads up. We just acquired the big key, located after some foes and obstacles. Once you have it, use that magic mirror, as mentioned, to head to the start of the dungeon. This will save you tons of time. These guys can knock you off the floor. The little star-looking men on the bottom of the floor will shift those pits, the pits that you could fall through. Now, you may notice a vase we just walked by. If you position yourself perfectly, this is not shown in the video, you could fall through that vase and keep on falling into the basement of the level, and you will reach a secret area with 2 fairies in it, and that's just a really cool little secret, something someone should know in a video. The little secret of the Tower of Hera, and several dungeons have secrets like that in the Legends of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which is why it was so fun, as we're about to pick up the big treasure. And you pick up the big treasure in the same sort of way you would get the fairies. You must position yourself at this floor, which is the 6th floor, by dodging the little octopus tentacle enemies and falling right into that pit there. Don't step on the stars or you'll have to start over. Open the big chest once you have the big key, and you will get the moon pearl. Now we can enter the dark world without turning into a rabbit. However, we still need all 3 of the pendants, so we can acquire the Master Sword in the Lost Woods, so we can take on Aganim. I'm sorry, I said Aganim. Aganim. If you butcher that name, and it's such a simple name, I'm sorry, I do too. Aganim, once again, but this is Moldorm, and I switched the animation at the bottom here into the Moldorm animation. With Link kind of stabbing him. Bear with me, I'm working on those animations. I still like my effort. Moldorm boss, like the legend, Sakiyomag, you can charge your blade and immediately hit Moldorm. After this, use spin attacks. About 6 fully charged, 5 to 6 fully charged hits will defeat the Moldorm. And that will wrap things up for this segment. Next on will be at the Hyrule Castle. I am the Codebreak. Thanks, Sakiyomag. Mom and Dad, I love you. We'll be right back. We got all those pendants, baby. Alrighty, Link to the Past Light World fans. This is the end of the segment of the Link to a Past Light World portion of the walkthrough, the virtual guide. I am your host, Codebreak. It's been a lot of fun making this virtual guide, and I hope you all enjoy, and I think you're going to. And if we get enough likes and views, I will begin starting the Dark World regardless, but I might amp it up and stick strictly to finishing the Zelda series in general, or whatever you would like to see. So once we have the Master Sword from the Lost Woods, you can break the barrier, the electric barrier made by Aghanim, to get back into Hyrule Castle. That was the whole point. You need the 3 pendants to, well, first you need the Moon Pearl to be able to transform and walk in the Dark World without turning into a pink rabbit. But then you need the 3 pendants, which is why we had to kill Moldorm and not just acquire the Moon Pearl in the big chest, because you need that to awaken the Master Sword. And then you have to go to Hyrule Castle because it seems like the game is going to end at this point. However, there is one more full-fledged world to explore, and that is the Dark World, which has 7 dungeons or 8 dungeons, I believe, maybe 9 if you count the final one. I actually forgot. There's tons of dungeons in this game. They are much smaller than the 3D games, but that's still jam-packed, I would say. It was jam-packed with a lot of fun, and the Dark World is going to be a lot of fun to do. So this level, or this dungeon, is kind of like a mini dungeon. It's Hyrule Castle. I personally don't count it as a true dungeon. It doesn't have a number in the game, and you don't get really a pendant or anything. There is a boss, though, and it's pretty short. At the start, you basically head left, and you want to go up the stairs through that electric barrier, and there's a lot of battle sequences. There are some small keys around, but basically you get those through just killing the enemies or defeating the targets, the foes in the dungeon. Push that block there. That's going to open up the skull door too. A little puzzle like that, nothing major really. So with that being said, you shouldn't really have too much trouble. As you see, a key just popped up around this time I'm speaking as well. And you should get through this one pretty easily. With the Master Sword at full power, have your fighter shield, get the magical boomerang, try keeping your Master Sword beams intact at full power once again, and you shouldn't have trouble getting to this dungeon, especially for new players. And try to have the amount of hearts that we have on screen. Add to that note, if you're having extra trouble, bring some red potion with you in the bottle. Don't forget the red potion. So you're going to go through this dungeon, mowing through the targets, and eventually it's going to lead to a long, narrow road that you could probably fall down, and that will lead to a Ganem. So I think this is the last small key in this segment here. Animation at the bottom is a little bit of the interior of Hyrule Castle with a little spinning effect on the Triforce. I like that a lot. I got some fireballs glowing, some torches glowing in the sconces in the background. A new version of a frontal of Link with the fighter shield, or the red shield. Some call it the fire shield. Hold on. And that fire shield will be one of the cooler looking items in the game inside the mirror shield, as we are ready now to take on a Ganem. Aghanim. Mog. It's Psycho Mog's footage, the legendary Psycho Mog. Thank you once again, Mog, Jeremy, and his family. Thank you so much for this. Changing up the animation to the green lightning bolts, the yellow-green lightning bolts, so fluorescent colored bolts of Aghanim, as he zaps Zelda into the Dark World. Looks like all hope is all but lost at this point. We got a full Aghanim artwork on the left now. The new animation on the bottom. Video's a little small. Apologize for that. Hopefully you get the idea. Cut open the gate here, the curtain, and behind the curtain is Aghanim himself. Ready to fight this guy. You better have some fairies in a bottle or some red potion if you're a new player. The name of the game here, as Psycho Mog gets fancy and classy, using, well, maybe not too classy, but he definitely gets fancy, using the bug net to reflect the fireballs of Aghanim. You could also reflect them with the Master Sword. You have to time your strikes correctly and reflect them back at Aghanim. I believe this is the first game Zelda started that little trend here which is really, really cool. So they can be flipped with the bug net or the Master Sword. I prefer sticking to the Master Sword. When you go to the center of the room, Aghanim will blast a huge charge of lightning at Link, and you gotta be on the left or the right side of the screen. Dodge that. Then he's gonna start shooting ice balls at you, and you can defend those and spread them. They will not hit Aghanim. The only way you can take down Aghanim is when he has his red bolts come at you and you reflect those back in his face. 4, 5, no, 6 of those bolts are going to take down Aghanim. Once he is down, once he gets hit with one more last bolt of fire, dodging that lightning, Link stressing, the lightning going, the game goes on, and Aghanim will be blasted down with one last bolt of fire and drag Link into the dark world. And the game continues on. I am the Legend of Zelda. The light ones.